This is Trade Alive with IUX, where markets come alive and trading gets real. Let's go live.
This podcast is brought to you by IUX Trading Platform, elevating your trading experience.
Hello, and welcome back to the IUX podcast. I'm your host, and this is a part of Trade Alive, brought to you by IUX Education and the IUX Trading Platform. We're here to explore the critical intersection of market strategy, human psychology, and the legacies of the world's greatest traders. Now, I want you to be honest with me for a second. Every single trader, regardless of how long they've been doing this, faces this internal conflict. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That sudden, impulsive, almost physical urge to click the buy or sell button, battling against that slow, rational voice that reminds you, hey, stick to your trading plan. You feel a surge of heat, your heart races, maybe even a little thump, and logic just seems to completely vanish. This whole internal decision-making process, it's not just a personal quirk. It is, in fact, a critical subsystem within the greater financial environment. And here's the key realization that changed my whole perspective. This conflict isn't random. It's a fundamental, predictable feature of human cognition. We owe the clarity on this subject to Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman, who popularized the dual process theory. A beat of reverence. This theory divides our decision-making into two distinct and constantly competing modes. System 1, fast, and System 2, slow. And I'll tell you right now, one system is the source of almost all your biggest mistakes, and the other holds the absolute key to discipline and consistency. Understanding this dichotomy is the first essential step in applying systems thinking to your trading. Recognizing that the ultimate outcome depends on the stable, controlled interaction between your internal processes and the external environment. Today, we're going to analyze this internal battle in depth, and we'll provide the specific roadmap for overcoming trading fear and greed by mastering the relationship between System 1 and System 2. The problem, System 1. The instinctive driver. So let's not waste any time. If we're going to solve the problem, we have to first identify the culprit. We must understand the source of our emotional interference. Let's begin by breaking down System 1, the instinctive driver. Virtually no conscious effort, which is why when you panic sell, it feels so effortless. It's the default setting. Neurobiologically, System 1 is housed primarily in your limbic system, the ancient emotional core of your brain. It includes the amygdala, which is effectively the brain's panic button or smoke detector. When you initiate a high-leverage trade, your amygdala literally doesn't know the difference between a falling stock price and a charging lion. It instantly triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This hormonal flood is not mental, it is physical. This physical response is the emotional hijack. Because this system prioritizes survival over accuracy, it is entirely emotional and prone to devastating, predictable biases when applied to complex financial decisions. Let's look closely at the three primary ways System 1 sabotages your capital. 1. The panic button. Fear, loss aversion, and the hormonal cascade. When the price of an asset drops rapidly, System 1 instantly sees the red number and registers it as a threat to physical integrity. The zero-sum bias. System 1 often views the market through a zero-sum bias, the toxic belief that if you are losing, someone else must be winning because of you. This feeling of being defeated triggers a survival response. Physical hijack. The cortisol released by the amygdala causes tunnel vision and increases your perception of risk, forcing you toward impulsive action. The adrenaline gives you the physical urgency to click the sell button. System 1 doesn't care about your logic, it only cares about escaping the pain. This impulse overwrites your logical stop-loss plan and often causes you to close a position right at the bottom. Ouch! Anchoring failure, the dead cat bounce. This is where System 1 is deadly. It clings to your anchored price, your entry price, and rejects the loss. When the asset drops $2 and then bounces back 20 cents, the classic dead cat bounce, System 1 screams, "See, I was right, it's coming back, double down." This is a failure of rational calculation, forcing you to double your exposure to a fundamentally broken trade simply to avoid the painful admission of being wrong. 2. The chase, greed, FOMO, and flawed heuristics. The opposite emotional hijack happens when an asset spikes rapidly in a near parabolic move. System 1 activates the chase instinct, bypassing all risk calculation. Representativeness heuristic. System 1 relies heavily on this. It sees a sharp parabolic move and immediately assumes this recent pattern represents the future. It ignores the probabilistic reality that past performance does not guarantee future results. It assumes the trend will continue simply because the chart looks like a successful trend. Affect heuristic. System 1 uses your current mood to make a judgment. If you are feeling excited and euphoric because your last trade was a winner, System 1 will use that positive mood as a substitute for calculating risk, leading to reckless entries out of FOMO. The social trap. This System 1 reaction is amplified by social media. When you see others celebrating gains, your amygdala registers the threat of being excluded, forcing the buy now response to relieve the social pain, not to achieve a strategic goal. In essence, System 1 is designed to trade accuracy for speed. It generates a powerful, false sense of certainty to push you toward immediate action, bypassing the need for conscious, difficult, and slow calculation. Now, that's the bad news. System 1 is powerful, it's fast, and it's constantly hijacking us. So how do we stop it? The good news is that we have the power to stop the hijack. The antidote to the impulsive driver is the calculated CEO, System 2. System 2 is our deliberate, logical, and analytical mode. Visualize System 2 as the calm, calculated scientist or the CEO of your mind. It is housed in the prefrontal cortex, the executive command center. It requires significant cognitive effort, but its function is complex. It governs inhibition control, the ability to stop yourself from doing something impulsive, and working memory, the ability to hold multiple pieces of data, like your risk-to-reward ratio, in mind simultaneously. The entire function of professional trading is to force the activation of this slower, more accurate System 2. 1. Managing the cognitive battery, willpower and energy. System 2's resources, your willpower, your attention, and your mental focus are finite and easily depleted because the PFC runs on energy. You must treat them like a precious, limited resource. The glucose connection. System 2 literally runs on blood sugar, glucose. When you are hungry, stressed, or sleep-deprived, your body reserves glucose for survival functions, and your PFC goes offline. This is why traders often make their worst mistakes right before lunch or late at night. Decision hygiene. You must reserve the PFC's strength only for market hours. Avoid complex, unnecessary choices outside of trading. Every trivial decision spends System 2 currency you need for crucial trades. Strategic refueling. Trading is a high-performance cognitive sport. Maximize System 2 availability by prioritizing deep and consistent sleep and strategic nutrition during market hours to keep the PFC supplied with energy. 2. The mandatory pause, the circuit breaker, and reframing. When you feel the surge of a System 1 trigger, you must implement a mandatory cool-down period. This is the 5-minute rule. Biological timeout. This is a necessary biological intervention. The peak of an emotional spike lasts only a short time. The adrenaline and cortisol dissipate in minutes. The 5-minute pause forces the emotional instinct to subside by allowing this hormonal spike to dissipate. PFC re-engagement. The pause provides the necessary window for the rational prefrontal cortex, System 2, to regain control. You are physically creating the time for logic to step back in, analyze the plan, and override the emotional command generated by the limbic system. This pause also forces you to shift your locus of control from external, the market is against me, to internal, am I following my rules? 3. Externalizing the logic, the pre-mortem ritual. We must offload the hard, complex thinking onto objective structure before the market opens. The trading plan. This is the foundational System 2 document. It is the core rulebook that the logical self writes. The pre-mortem technique. This is a powerful System 2 ritual. Before entering an A-plus trade, force System 2 to dedicate 5 minutes to writing down why this trade might fail. Assume the trade has failed 1 week from now and list the 3 reasons why. This technique proactively addresses confirmation bias and forces System 2 to inoculate itself against the shock of an actual loss. 4. The ultimate goal. Building trained habits. Professional intuition. You cannot run System 2 all the time. It is too mentally exhausting. Therefore, the ultimate goal is not constant draining effort. It is to make the logical process, System 2, so disciplined and practiced through repetition that it becomes an improved, automatic, high-quality System 1 habit. This creates professional intuition, a trained reflex. It's not a guess. It is the instantaneous recognition of a high-probability setup because the checklist has been run 10,000 times. This allows for fast execution, System 1 speed, with high accuracy, System 2 training. You are literally reprogramming your fast, intuitive mind to work in your favor. To summarize, trading success is not about eliminating the fast System 1, it's about managing the hierarchy. System 1 generates essential vigilance, but its reliance on evolutionary biases makes it fundamentally unreliable for capital preservation. System 2 must always maintain the ultimate veto power on risk and execution. The key to mastering this is understanding and managing your cognitive effort. The solution is a disciplined, multi-step process designed to interrupt the emotional loop. Acknowledge the bias. When you feel that heat or urge, recognize it instantly as a System 1 mental shortcut, a loud voice operating with cognitive ease but not a valid command. Enforce System 2, the pause. Use a mandatory cool-down period and objective System 2 tools like the trading plan and the pre-mortem technique to force the necessary cognitive effort for sound analysis. Build trained habits. Through consistent repetition of the System 2 process, the ultimate goal is to make the logical execution automatic, transforming it into a reliable, high-quality System 1 habit, professional intuition. Ultimately, the market rewards those who trade with process, not passion. By mastering the activation and training of System 2, you replace impulsive mistakes with intentional, high-quality decisions. The IUX platform provides the fast execution you need, but the discipline to use it wisely comes from mastering your mind's two systems. If this episode gave you valuable insight, please consider clicking like, subscribe, follow, and sharing it with another trader who might need this reminder. In the next episode, we'll dive even deeper and explore more. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Trade Alive with IUX. Ready to put these insights into action? IUX is here to power your next winning trade